On my way back from the meadows, I can't help but feel a little deflated, a little angry. I know that Ronnie said that Burke liked his colt, and the colt of Aaron's has been racing well as a number of starts. Got the 8-hole. I had every intention of just blasting out of there. The one thing I noticed about Captain Incredible today, he was touching his knees a little bit more than usual. Now, here's my problem. I was always worried that if we kept taking one set of shoes off and putting another set of shoes on, switching him out, that maybe he would get a little footsore. I don't know if that's the case. I had asked him about it after. He said that him and his blacksmith would go over the horse tomorrow and give me a fair assessment of what their thoughts are. Because it's very difficult to explain Captain Incredible to anybody. The things he does, even what I believe he's capable of, it's hard to quantify it. It's hard to paint you a picture of how complex, at least how complex I've made it. Maybe it doesn't need to be that complex, I don't know. But when it comes to Captain Incredible, when he is awesome, and I've seen him at least what I would consider awesome already, twice. Once with my eyes, and the other one right up close in front of me. Just endless speed. Power, just this massive reserve of power. And I know he was in a maiden. That plays a role, I get that. But I drive enough horses, right? And listen, Dave Pallone drives enough horses. He's almost won more races than I've driven in. And it was evident to him. It's evident to me. Even he said to me, he didn't seem like he was pacing proper. He said, no, he was at his knees today, but he was confident. At no point did I worry. I know he got all out of gear coming out of the gate. That's because I asked him to pace out of the gate and he get into that outside knee. He hasn't done that yet, but I've never asked him to leave. Now Dave let him rock from the rail with the fitness mount, 27-4. So he has left. But today I was planning on, especially when I look left, and Aaron and I are the only two going out of there. Ronnie's going to push his horse through. And what Ronnie was doing was timing the gate to get a good run at us because he knew that we were coming out of there too. He didn't feel great going into the first turn. I know if I keep going, Ronnie lets me go. But I also was worried about emptying him out. But right away I said, there's a 5-hole. You can be third and work on and live to fight another day. Or you can die on this hill and push to the front and expose them today. And it's one of the rare times I didn't pick the ladder. I dumped him in the 5-hole, and and I didn't know this till after the race, but Tim said he was coughing quite a bit after. They scoped him, a little bit of redness, a little bit of mucus. Did that play a role? No. There was no blood, no nothing like that. But he was coughing, so could it have played a role? Yes, I suppose it could have. It did not play a role in his mechanics, but it could have played a role in his overall power. But he was a little out of gear in the last turn. I had to let him square himself up coming out of the last turn. He touched his knee. I guess the easiest way to put it was he was at his knees today way more than he was his last two starts. Why? I can't answer that for you. I don't know. I just don't know. So I had said to Tim, rewind. How was he this week? He had a great week. Jogged good. I trained him myself. He trained good. I was very happy with him. We're talking as we're preparing this horse for some major stakes later in the summer. And today, obviously, when you watch a race, it doesn't leave you with that warm and fuzzy feeling that, there's a horse that's going to take us places. Although, that's very unfair to say. Horse pace 52-3, first over, last half in 55, last quarter 28-1, third quarter 27 seconds. So it's unfair to try and diminish what he did. He didn't do anything wrong today. He just couldn't do enough right. The key to this horse is in his feet. That is the key to Captain Incredible. I have never been sure of anything more in my life than that. Tip him out too much, he's going to get sore. Don't tip him out enough, he's going to get into his knees. Was that a role? Did that play a role today? Was it maybe that he just wasn't tipped out enough? Or his angle's too high? Horses like him, you are always walking this razor thin line keeping him sound, keeping him happy, keeping him comfortable, letting him grow up and mature, not asking for too much. Those angles have to be 49 or 50 up front. They have to be. Now that's tricky too, because you got to have it tipped out. That doesn't mean 48 on the outside, 49 on the inside. I'll be 50 and 49, I would say, overall. Has to be lower on the outside, and he cannot have too much heel. Too much heel gets you into those knees. Not enough heel, and he gets sore. You see now where the problem is, right? He's going to be a challenge. And as I said to Tim after, there can be no half measures with him. Not to say that there ever was, but just to reiterate, there cannot be any half measures with Captain Incredible. His feet have to be good all the time, because they are the key. His ankles, you have to stay on top of them. All 4 ankles have bothered him from time to time, but they have been good. Tim's crew has done a great job keeping Captain Incredible incredible. Today he was good. Good's not going to win stake races. Good's going to make 3-minute videos turn into 7-minute videos. He's not going to win stake races. So let's start where the obvious point is. Let's have this blacksmith look at the feet tomorrow. I need an honest opinion of what your thoughts are on this horse's feet. Is he tipped out enough? Are his angles low enough? These are all questions we have for tomorrow. If you didn't know any different, you'd say, he raced okay. No, he didn't. I shouldn't say that. Yeah, he raced okay. He raced to about 70% of what he's capable of doing, in my estimation. Now, that is also important. No one should care what I think. This is one of those Missouri moments, right? Show me. So he'll come out swinging next week. I was going to give him another week. We need to make sure we have him under control and proper right now. Race him next week in the same class. Draw a little bit better. Make sure he is 102% heading into the race. And then see if 150 and a piece baffles him. I highly doubt it will. So, I wasn't going to make it, not often. You're going to race one horse. I'm going to make you a video on the way back to Brunswick. I talked to James. James was, and I left it with him. You know, he said, don't get mad. I'm going to go with Dune. I don't think I can go with the other ones. I said, you're not going to go with Blue Rare? Now, she just shipped this morning. But that's the life of the racehorse. She's pretty chill anyway. Pretty cool customer. That stuff's not going to bother her. I told him, I said, he said, Blake said he likes his filly. I said, it is too early for me to say, oh, don't take Blake's, take mine. So I'm going to tell you a little story about Blue Rare, and then you do whatever you want. She is, if you go back and look at my videos all winter, I said she is one of our best, if not our best horse. I've got a big, powerful, muscle mass filly. Anthony, all you have to do is keep her sound. That is it. You keep this filly sound, she's going to win races. Now, what happened was, in March and April, I backed off with her a little bit. I wanted to make sure that her knees were all right, especially through April. And remember what I tell you guys all the time, when you miss those training trips in between, you see them, much like a baseball team or a baseball player on a team. Any athlete, when you're at that top level, you just can't miss, not unless you're extraordinarily gifted. Like the top, the 1% of the 1%. Then you can get away with that stuff. But when you're just a hard-knocking athlete that has talent and has ability, then to cultivate that and grow that, you can't miss training trips. Can't miss work. And I went really easy with her through that stretch. And what happened was, when push came to shove after that, you remember? She was a little flat. I was not as impressed. But I had to keep telling myself what I know. You can't put in half the work and expect the same results. It doesn't work that way. So we worked her and worked her and worked her, and slowly she caught up. On that schooling day, she looked good finishing her mile up. Rico Tubbs beat me fair and square, but she looked good. And then I went and trained her at the end, and I cut her loose. 2-1, 28 apiece on the end of it. I said, so you take what you want from that. She has been in 2-1 training by herself on a half-mile track the last fast mile she went. Now, she trained on the weekend. Eric said she was straight as a die, not running in, not out of gear. Now you're going from Northfield to Mohawk. Take that Murphy blind off. We don't need to contain her much anymore. Take that snake cord off. Take that ear hood off. I'm telling you, you're going to like her. Having said that, it is way too early in the year for me to say, no, you go with her instead of Blake's. You make the decision. You know everything I know about her now. You make the decision. So I think at the end of it, James is going to talk to Blake and maybe go with Blue Rare, but I didn't want to sway him. Because the next thing that happens is Blake's horse goes out and it's like that Mona Lishi or Lishi or whatever her name is, and just kill everybody all year. And James remembers the day that we had the conversation on the way home from the races. You do as you wish. Now you know everything you need to know about Blue Rare. And as I was going down the road, I said, I'm almost tempted just to knock it on the turnpike and drive straight to Ontario and go there myself. He said, well, you don't have to do that. I said, well, it's a long year and I'm not really worried about it, but I think very highly of this filly. So if I have to go home and go with her, I will. He said, fine, I think he's probably going to go with Blue Rare, which is fine with me, but I wanted him to do it on the right terms. I didn't want to tout the filly and say, James, can you just go with this filly, please? I need you to go with this filly. No, but I think he's going to take her. He's definitely going to drive Dune. He mentioned definitely going with Dune. And then Riding the Rodeo needs a driver for tomorrow. A lot of people messaging me, asking me about Riding the Rodeo. What do you think? I'll be honest. The same thing I told you. You guys look way back in November, December. I said that mucus might be a problem come allergy season. And it feels like just a tick off her velocity. And I had said to James, he said, she was okay the other day. Come like 28 seconds, a mile and 2-1 or something. But Anthony, they're going to go 10 seconds faster. I said, they are. But just if we don't, we just have to race her in the right place. So I would suggest to all my partners in Riding the Rodeo, we take all that into consideration. Race her once, twice, 3 times, nice and soft. Even take her to like a Hanover or somewhere where they rate a nice little soft maiden. Put a mark on her maybe. Get a couple of good lines on her. Put her away before she starts to bleed, before she starts to struggle and get angry and sour. Put her away. Just give her a month. Leave her alone. Bring her back. Have her ready for the last part of Sire Stakes season. Race her in a couple. She makes a consolation or a final. Great. If she doesn't, then we'll reassess at that point. I'm going to give you guys a video. I'm going to do a video of horses that aren't quite to where we want them just yet. And that's not me taking a knock at them. That's just me letting you know I believe there's a horse there that we want to keep, but he or she has not made it to that level just yet. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You certainly can't expect that all the horses are going to be perfect right now, can you? That would be unrealistic of you, I would think. Seems like it to me, anyway. I have no idea if this is even going to load. Okay, it is. Hey, Ava, honey. Mm-hmm. Pull up when this comes up. When this comes up. Not now. Here, when this comes up, put stable 2. And then put horses. Why is that not working? This is so stupid. Don't worry about it. I'll bring you guys a video in a few minutes. I'm going to talk about all the babies. I'm going to talk about how pleased I am with the ones I'm pleased with. I'm going to talk about the ones that haven't quite got there yet, what their issues are, what their ailments are, how we're going to address that, what that timeline looks like, and what our overall expectations are right now, the 1st of June, 2025. So there's an update on Captain Incredible. There's an update on a couple of young horses. I updated you guys earlier on a video about why Save America's headed to PEI, how excited the connections are of the horse that maybe live in PEI, especially Jamie Smith, why I thought that was important for the horse to go there, and I guess more importantly for the people out there waiting for some acquisitions, on the hunt for another horse that might join Save America Gold Cup 2025. So, take care. I'll talk to you soon. It's pouring rain. I was lucky, didn't get rained on at Captain Incredible's race, so that's a bonus. Although if they had rained, the track might have been a little more firm. It's going to rain tomorrow, though. It's going to be nasty and gross tomorrow, but that's the life. So, take care. I will be back in a minute. I do want to talk to you about these babies, about where they're at, what they're doing, how I see them, and what I'd like to see moving forward. Take care.